Hi, welcome to my political show. Kavindu Political Times. Before starting the show, hit the like button and subscribe to my show. Now let's get started. Today on the show, we're going to talk about events that took place in the G7 summit and why it matters to us, and many more. So now let's get started. Now, President Joe Biden made his first appearance as the President of the United States in the G7 summit, where he met major global leaders, the French President and the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson and German Chancellor Angela Merkel. And it was a very big important moment. And of course, my fellow Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau existed as well. Rather interestingly, he didn't look out of place. He existed as well. Now you might think, now with all these seven most powerful leaders, did anything achieve? Did anything became into any sense? Yes, it did. In fact, many achievements have now been achieved. The fight against climate change have been a major talking point in the summit. Of course, it's been a topic point. And also, it's also about the representation and the relationship between these prospective global leaders significantly mattered, especially between Joe Biden and Boris Johnson. Now, these two leaders have not liked each other previously. Joe Biden previously claimed that Boris Johnson was a Donald Trump's clone and things like that. You think about it, they all have their personal feelings, but those personal feelings have been put aside when it comes to politics, because when it comes to politics, you have to negotiate, and that's key. And unlike Donald Trump, Boris Johnson felt this was a sign of fresh air. Why? When you negotiate with Joe Biden, something can be achieved, unlike with Donald Trump. And of course, something else to consider is that this is an important moment for Boris Johnson to make sure that Joe Biden will not talk about Northern Ireland, because Northern Ireland is a major topic that has caught and gone viral at the moment and things like that. And Boris Johnson so far have managed to do that. I doubt it will be, but something to think about that note. And of course, Joe Biden met the French president as well, where the both men met and talked for a fairly long time. It looked like they all agreed on major facts they want to agree. The fight against the pandemic, the fight against China, and etc. Now let's put them into layers, shall we? Now in terms of the pandemic, all the seven countries agreed to donate millions and millions of vaccines to poorer countries who need the vaccines to control the pandemic and end this human life sucking pandemic has to end. And these countries will donate millions and millions of vaccines, and that's very important. Another thing was major happened in the G7 summit was climate change, and all countries have further shown their commitment towards the fight against climate change so that we can achieve these goals by 2050, which is very essential. Now the third thing, the battle against China. Can the world take control of the Chinese growth that they're achieving by breaking the rules? Now this is where many countries disagree, but yet they have come to certain agreements. Now major European countries are claiming that they want a softer approach against China since they are doing business with China. Then leaders like Justin Trudeau and the United States, they want to go on a much more hardcore approach towards China. So things like this. But unlike in the Trump era, there won't be mockery jokes going around. Things like that. This won't happen. In typical political fashion, they will negotiate. We will see the outcome of the situation. But one thing is clear. This G7 summit was a very productive G7 summit I have seen very recently. And of course, Joe Biden was greeted by the Queen Elizabeth. Of course, he's the 13th president of the history of the United States to be greeted by the Queen of England. Something to be considered as well. Now, from those events in G7 summit, from the achievements from there, let's talk about the Donald Trump situation. Donald Trump, of course, had this major event, this MAGA event, where there was, I would think, around 200 to 100 people. And my pillow guy was right in there talking stupid jokes about election fraud that doesn't exist. This kind of shows what's reality about Donald Trump and his supporters. They are dumb. They are stupid, they don't understand, they don't want other people correcting them. And I can tell you one thing, those 200 people who came to that event, I can assure you, have no knowledge about anything. They only care about Donald Trump. What they don't know is that Donald Trump is not holy and Donald Trump is not a saint. That has to be crystal clear. and that has to be done. But some people might claim he is holy and he is saint, but Donald Trump is not. Something to consider. Now, does all these people mean that Donald Trump has a future? Probably not. He's clearly doesn't. He's not going to win in 2024, even if he runs. And of course, because of Trump, the GOP will lose the midterms. Because you can't do a campaign trial on smudging campaigns. You got to focus on the real issues, what people want. The GOP has been so atrocious at this. They might give a free candy bar to the Democrats and they should just simply give up at this moment. And of course, the GOP would say they can still win. Kevin McCarthy needs to win. If he doesn't, he deserves to go to hell at the moment because he has sabotaged the GOP that was once a strong opposition. That is required like any political arena. You need the opposition to go against the leader. At the moment, the GOP is not what it is, thanks to Trump. And of course, as we reason now, there's more information coming about that Donald Trump may have, certainly through the Justice Department, may have collected information against the will, or most likely collecting dirt on senators on the Democratic side during the Russia investigation, and also looking out for the leaks. Now, this is my problem. This is pretty much what Richard Nixon did. This is even worse than Richard Nixon, if you think about this. Because Richard Nixon didn't betray the country. He simply did that to make himself stay in power. But Donald Trump has betrayed the country, and for me, he looks like a traitor. He is trying to tell the world, don't let the investigation go on whether to see whether Donald Trump colluded with Russia or not. The reality is, because of Trump's stupidity, people think Donald Trump did win because of Russia. And that's Donald Trump's stupidity. And you know what, my message for Trump is, look Donald, if you want to keep going around and keep saying you'll be reinstated, let it go. I'm fine by that. But do not create another January 6th riot. If you create this time, I surely hope that you will never in politics. You don't deserve to stay in the limelight, and that's reality. Now on that note, I'm going to end the video. Thank you very much for joining me on the show.